Well, the lessons you learn in jiu-jitsu is, really how to be efficient with your energy and your time as well.
Right.
So I try to implement that in everything that I do, as well as real estate.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is the Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. And in this episode today, I have joining with me, got the pleasure of speaking with Dylan Hite. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing just great. Feeling even better having you here with me. Just want to go over a few questions. Want to talk about your experience and a few of your insights in regards to real estate. Let's start off with just the day in the life of a real estate agent. That's a different kind of life, right? You're making up your own schedule. You're kind of, picking up your own clients and things of that nature. Can you kind of walk us through what your average or typical day looks like from morning to night?
Sure. Well, every day can be a little bit different. Just depends who I'm working with that day. I might be going up to Roscommon to show houses on the lake, or, just doing meetings in the office with new buyers and new clients. It really can vary. That's kind of the exciting part about real estate, is every day is a little bit different. You're always meeting new people, doing new stuff. So that's really what I enjoy about it, honestly. So
Okay. That's pretty fair. So let's talk about investing your time outside of real estate real quick. If I'm not mistaken, not only do you do practice jujitsu, but you actually are an instructor. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. So talk to me. How do you feel your skills, knowledge, abilities in jiu-jitsu can relate to real estate, if it does at all? Any correlation there?
Well, the lessons you learn in jiu-jitsu is, really how to be efficient with your energy and your time as well.
Right.
So I try to implement that in everything that I do, as well as real estate. So I'd say, it's a little bit different. It's a different world, jiu-jitsu versus real estate, but you can kind of take those and implement those in a way. So just trying to be efficient and, like I said, doing things in a way that's most effective. Just kind of streamlining things, make things easier for yourself and for your clients. So,
see, I was interested in your answer because a lot of people see jiu-jitsu as just some type of martial art and it's just all physical. And they're like, what does this have anything to do with real estate? But the answer that you gave is exactly what I would expect. It's a little bit more of the mindset in jiu-jitsu and the things that you learn and in the discipline that you can actually relate to not only just real estate, but life in general, correct?
Right. Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. I would have guessed that. So let's talk about investing your time in real estate then. What do you feel like a real estate agent, do you feel like a real estate agent should own a home in order to sell a home? This is something I always want to ask a realtor.
So I think you should have experience in purchasing a home for yourself. I think that's a good thing, but I don't think you necessarily have to own one. I've bought and sold properties in the past. I'd say there's an idea behind renting that it's not good or it's bad. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it's whatever fits. I help people find houses to purchase for investments, for, primary residences, and just to find houses to rent as well. It's just whatever fits your lifestyle in that moment is what I would encourage you to do. So I think as a real estate agent, you should have experience in buying and selling houses. I think that's a good thing, like I said, but you don't necessarily have to own one to be a good real estate agent.
Right. So with that being said, I'm assuming realtors, successful realtors who both own property and probably don't own property, but still make a good career out of it. I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Okay. So in regards to owning property, rental properties, investment properties, do you by any chance feel like rental properties or Airbnb specifically are a good or bad thing for real estate? I mean, we can talk about Airbnbs in general for the real estate market or specifically in your market.
So I don't know if I would necessarily call them a good or a bad thing. I think certain areas, certain neighborhoods prefer not to have Airbnbs. I know there's been a lot more of those popping up over the last couple of years, around like lakeside properties and things like that. It really just depends. Whatever fit in terms of investments, rental properties are definitely good to have. Historically, real estate's a really good thing to invest in. But aside from that, I don't know if I'd necessarily. I think it just whatever suits you and whatever you prefer. If you want to, either own homes to rent or just use it as an Airbnb, either way, whichever whatever fits your budget and whatever fits your lifestyle, I'd say, is what works. So.
Okay, so is it not affecting your market as much, or I'm assuming you just don't have any effect with Airbnbs in your area?
Yeah, in Midland, we don't really see many Airbnbs. There are a lot of rental properties and things like that,
Right.
that people own. But Airbnbs in Midland is not really prevalent. I would say there are a couple, maybe here and there, but I don't really work with many.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So let's get into your clientele and how you get them. What is your strategy to actually prospecting clients or getting them? Are they mostly word of mouth, or you do social media? Or what's your tactics?
So I do social media, but for the most part, face-to-face interaction is the best way to go, in my opinion. Networking with people and just meeting new people, building good relationships with them, I think is the best way to go. That's what's worked for me personally. I have my jiu-jitsu community that I'm a part of, my real estate community that I'm a part of. I have investment groups that I take part in, and just like I said, just meeting new people and just being face-to-face with new clients is, in my opinion, the best way to build business, because that way you build the best relationships, in my opinion.
Good. Have you received any acknowledgments for your work in real estate that you're proud of? You want to talk about?
Well, I've been doing real estate for about 4 years, and I'd say that one of the best things that I've done, one of the biggest achievements that I've made is just flipping my own properties. Honestly, aside from just helping people, first-time home buyers, find the first house, especially the last couple of years, it's kind of been a difficult thing to do, with prices the way they've been. So, I'd say that's one of my proudest moments is just purchasing and fixing up and flipping my own properties, and then as well as helping that first time home buyer get the new set of keys. I'd say that's probably one of my favorite moments. But I did do last year. I did over $3 million in real estate sales. So for me, I was pretty proud of that. So
congratulations. All right. So you actually get in there. You do some of the physical labor yourself when it comes to doing some renovations.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it once you're done. So
I don't think I've come across too many real estate agents who actually get in and do work like that also. Is that something that you kind of talk to your clients about or kind of sell them on also, or you keep that separate?
No, absolutely. I'd say if it works for the client, helping them understand what would be a good investment, and what you can do, what kind of things you can do to really get the most out of it. I think it's good for people to know. I think real estate, like I said, historically is a really good investment if done right.
Correct.
Correct. And I like to be kind of self-involved, in it. If I'm going to do a project, I want to be there doing it myself. So I'm just kind of that hands-on type of person, I guess.
All right. What's the hardest part to you of showing a home to a client?
The hardest part is, I guess I would say, knowing that it's most likely they're not going to purchase the first home that they see. And that's okay. But it's whatever, you might get the rare client that sees that first home and decides that's the one, but knowing that you're in it for the long haul.
Right.
And as long as you can be okay with that, it's really about the client's journey. It's you kind of have to have no expectations, I would say. So really managing your time and your energy output and understanding that, it's not going to happen overnight. So I would say that's probably the most difficult part. But once you get used to it and understand that it's going to be a long game, then it makes it a lot easier. So
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah,
well spoken,
exactly.
right there. So you've had your license for about 4 years. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned since obtaining your license?
That's a good question. So the most valuable lesson that I've learned, I would say, there's so many, honestly, but in real estate, in terms of, like I said, just in terms of helping your clients to understand the process, that's the best thing to understand is
Yes.
doing that up front so they know what to expect as they're getting into it. I think it makes it so much easier for the client, excuse me, when they understand, like I said, the process of what it is they're getting into before they start. So really
Right.
breaking things down before you start that journey really can ease the stress, because it is a stressful experience for a lot of people. So
Right,
I'd say that's probably the biggest thing.
Have you had anyone where you might have began the process, or they, you start to talk to them and initiate that relationship, and then you get into explaining the process? Have you ever had a situation where someone says, you know what, that just sounds a little bit too difficult, I think we'll back out right now? Has that ever occurred, or is it always just like an easy slope into just going into the process from there?
So it's never really easy. It's really just depends on the client. But I've there are definitely people that you can spend a lot of time with that are going to change their minds, that decide that this is not for us right now. We're going to wait. And that's fine too. That's, like I said, going back to understanding that it's a marathon. Real estate is a marathon. So there's going to be people that fall off, and a lot of them come back. As long as you maintain good relationships, that's fine. I'm never in a position where I should be pushing someone into something they're not comfortable with. I would always prefer the client to be comfortable with, what it is they're getting into, as long as they understand it. And if they decide at that point or at any point that they want to stop looking, that's totally fine. So as long as I maintain a good relationship with that person, that's all I care about.
Okay. I got to kind of ask, since you said that, how do you maintain a relationship with someone who initially decides that they don't want to move forward right now, that maybe they do it later? How do you maintain that relationship?
Just organic reach outs, just check in on people, see how they're doing. If they decide, they tell you they're going to rent for 6 months or a year, just check in periodically and see how they're doing. And, maybe send them a Christmas card or something like that. Just maintain some lines of communication with them.
Right.
I'd say that's the best way.
That's genuine. I can understand that. That can go a long way too. So we started off a brand new year, Dylan. It's 2023, baby. We leaving 2022 and things behind. Have you set your 2023 goals? If so, what are they, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, so my goal this year is to double what I did last year, essentially.
Nice.
So just trying to really pick up the pace and hammer those reach outs and really, dial up every action that I'm taking. So that's part of what I'm doing here, is just trying to do more. So
Nice. Okay. So let's talk about it. I guess you would say you're kind of relatively new compared to other realtors, but still, if you could start all over again, getting your license, knowing what you know now, would you do anything different? If so, what would it be?
Well, I'd say I would just, if I would do anything different, I would just tell myself it's, the losses, the failures are all part of it, not to stress about it so much. And again, just kind of remind yourself that it's a long game, and you're going to, as long as you stick to it, everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to work out. There's always going to be people, like we talked about, that are going to fall off the wagon, that are just going to decide, this isn't for me right now. And that's perfectly okay. Just keeping at it and trying again, doing better the next time is the most important thing. Just being consistent,
There it is. I always say the one thing you probably have control over as a person, the individual, is your consistency. Your consistency. Exactly. I agree with that 100%. Thank you so much, Dylan. I appreciate your time, and thanks for joining us here on the Closing Podcast. Before we get out of here, you want to tell the people anything? You want to tell them how to reach out to you if they're interested?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to Modern Realty's website or go to my Facebook, Dylan Hite. Just look me up, and if you're interested, if you're in the Midland area or the Tri-City area, you want to start looking for houses or just meet up and talk about the process, either way. So.
All right, there it is. Once again, thank you again, Dylan Hite. We appreciate you. And for our audience watching on YouTube right now, do me a favor, if you got this far in the video, hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to our channel, and also if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platforms. Make sure you like, give us a 5-star rating, subscribe so you know and get the latest content whenever it's coming out. And here's a question for the audience before we go. How did you come to live in your current home? Was it through a friend, real estate agent, renting, owning, whatever the case? Just drop your comments below. Other than that, we'll see you next time.